Very good afternoon, friends. Meeting again in the session of Materia Medica. Today, we're going to learn one important remedy from the first year's as well as final year syllabus, that is the Coffea Cruda. This remedy is known for the pain. Pains, the chamomilla, the coffea, the naxwamika, all those remedies are the called to be a pain remedies. Coffea is one of them. But coffea has very specific indications, modalities specifically. Coffea has very clearly indication, specifically in toothache. It is better by holding ice cold water inside the mouth. And this ice cold water, till the patient holds it inside the mouth, patient feels better. And when it becomes warm, immediately the toothache starts. Very typical modality. There are many remedies, but coffea is one of the very sensitive remedy for that. All types of pains are very clearly settled with the help of coffea. If you are not getting specific modality and patient is complaining of severe pain, one must think about the coffea over there. So this is a wonderful remedy which we are going to learn from the Allen's. What Allen says about the coffea. Let us open your Allen's keynotes and we'll learn sentence by sentence. Coffea cruda. It is a coffea. It is from coffee. It is Rubiaceae family. These are how is the constitution that is always written on the first line. Very important. The tall, lean, stooping shouldered persons, dark complexion, sanguine, choleric temperament. See, in the first sentence, he defines how the constitution is. The patients are quite tall, they are quite lean, they are stooping, they are having a dark complexion and sanguine, choleric temperament. Sanguine choleric temperament means these are the persons who used to react very fast. Sanguine temperament is nothing but the bloody temperament. So they are quite aggressive in their reactions, and that's why they are too sensitive and too frequently react with the situation, whether it is at the physical level or whether it is at the psychological level. This reaction is instantaneous and very fast over there. Oversensitiveness, very important thing. Underline this. This is oversensitiveness. You can get it in naxwamika, you can get it in chamomilla. Such sensitiveness, sulfuricum sensitiveness. All the senses more acute: sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. All five sensory things are too sensitive. Very easily they react to all those stimuli very fast. A wonderful remedy for the sensitiveness. The belladonna, the chamomilla, the opium. These are again remedies. Unusual activity of mind and body. Mind continuously works at psychological level. It is continuously working, continuously thinking. There are many ideas. Coffea is nothing but the drug. It creates many ideas. The brain becomes stimulated because of consuming the coffee even in crude form, and that's why many surgeons before surgery they used to take a coffee because it stimulates the mind process. So unusual activity of mind and body, full of ideas. This is very characteristic. If you take the coffee before sleep and you will not get the sleep, whole night you will have many ideas in your mind. You want to do this, you want to do that, and then so and so. Number of thoughts arises in your mind, full of ideas, quick to act. That is another. If you open the Kent's repertoire, you'll get only coffee under the quick to act, coffee and lacases. Very fast reacting remedies. No sleep on this account. And this is the thing which happens if you consume coffee, you never get a proper sleep. You remains wide awake at night because of many thoughts which gets inside your mind. Elements. Elements from the bad effects of sudden emotions or pleasurable surprises. Bad effects of sudden emotions. See, very important. Suddenness is characteristic of Coffea. Coffea is acute remedy in such types of states, very acute. So whether it is pleasurable, whether it is sad, whatever it may be, the reactions are instantaneous and they get affected because of it. So bad effects of sudden emotions are pleasurable surprises. Generally, this is characteristic of this remedy. The pleasurable surprises, elements from joy, sudden joy. Coffee is the first remedy. Causticum is also there. Exciting or bad news is gelsemium. Elements from exciting or bad news, it is gelsemium. Elements from weeping from delight, alternate laughing and weeping. So reaction is alternate laughing and weeping. Both reactions which you can get. So you can get a rubric laughing alternates with weeping. You get the copy over there in repertory. So see the sensitivity which you can catch over there. The pains are felt intensely, seem almost insupportable, driving patient to despair. Pains are so terrible that patient lands into a despair state, depressed state. This is very characteristic of aconite also. Aconite is also too sensitive remedy. Chamomilla is again a sensitive remedy. Heparsulf is sensitive remedy. So pains have very characteristic that makes the patient in the despair state. So patient get depressed because of it. Tossing about in anguish, very close to the aconite, tossing about in anguish. Anguish means apnas, very much severe suffering is called as an anguish. And patient tossing in about means he's moving here and there. He becomes so restless that he cannot sit in one place. Sleeplessness, wide awake condition, impossible to close the eyes. Very, very, very important. And this you can prove. You take the copy and you'll see this result at the night. Physical excitement through mental exaltation. So there is a tremendous physical excitement through mental exaltation. Mentally, patient becomes active and then exhausted. Both things. Mental exaltation is there when he's physical exaltation is there. He's moving here and there. Restlessness is much more. Here he says that compare this remedy with Senecio aureus. Senecio aureus is one of the important remedies, specifically in females. You get one specific rubric for Senecio aureus, that is delayed first menses in the girls. Senecio aureus is very important remedy. Senecio for sleepless from prolapsus, uterine irritation, and during climacteric. So Senecio aureus is a very important remedy, specifically at climacteric syndrome as well as menarche level. Both times the Senecio aureus plays the role. Headache. Headache of Coffea is again a very important. Headache from over mental exertion, thinking, headache from talking. Generally, it is like a migraine, one-sided headache. As from a nail is driven into the brain, like Ignatia, like Naxomica, like Thuja. These are remedies where you get that typical sensation that someone is pressing the nail inside the brain. Headache as if brain were torn and dashed into the pieces. So see, this is again very important sensation which patient explains that brain futto ki kaya. It is as if brain is getting teared or headache worse in open air. Patient is better in comfortable position inside the room, but as soon as there is a open air, it's there, patient's headache starts increasing. Hasty in eating and drinking. This hastiness you can get with argentum nitricum, with belladonna, with heparsal. These are the people who are quite hasty and hurried in their activities, specifically when eating and drinking. Argentum plays very important role. Must understand the toothache. Toothache, there is intermittent toothache, jerking. So it is as if jerking, very, very jerk like pain is there, very throbbing. Relieved by holding ice water in the mouth. This is characteristic where the copia gets differentiated, but returns when the water becomes warm inside the mouth. Same modality you can get in bismuth, bryonia, pulsatilla, causticum, sepia, and natrum syrup. But copia is too sensitive out of them. This is very important thing one must learn. Coffea, generally, I used to think when toothache of such a thing comes, even during pregnancy, the toothache is there. This remedy makes a very, very much use. Pains of cancer, Coffea is wonderful remedy if you want to tackle the cancer pains. Wherever the pains are there, one should not forget this acute remedy, and it works as a palliative many times, like chamomilla. The way chamomilla holds it, in the similar manner, the coffea also holds the pain. Very similar it has in its action, and both are two sensitive remedies. The modalities are very important. Modalities, there is a relationship you have to compare. The aconite, already we have discussed the aconite patient is tossing in agony, but there is a fear, the face which is absolutely marked. The fright is very much easily denotes that patient requires. Patient will come in agony, doctor save me, he predicts the time. That is aconite. Second is chamomilla. The doctor should cure him at once when it's a very, very painful condition. And chamomilla, patient cries, shrieking with the pains, very typical of the chamomilla. And they want to carry it very fast. Ignatia, more commonly Ignatia pains, yes, painful remedy, sensitive remedy, but closely associated with hysteria. Sulfur is chronic of a copia, chronic of a aconite, chronic of a even Ignatia. Incompatible remedies which he mentions over there is Cantharis, Causticum, Cocculus, and Ignatia. These are the remedies one should not follow each other. If you give the coffea, don't use this remedy. Or if you are using those remedies and then you are trying the coffea, you should not give that. And lastly, the aggravation. Aggravation is very important. Sudden mental emotion. That may be joy, that may be a sudden something, some bad news, that might be a sudden grief, but out of which coffea plays very vital role. When there is a sudden excitement, pleasurable excitement, then coffea is very important. Excessive joy, that is what he has mentioned, and it is given in italics, that has a significance. Aggravation in open air, aggression by cold, and lastly the narcotic medicines. Last is very important. The generally patient who used to consume lot of allopathic medicines, their complaints gets aggravated in coffee patient. So this remedy one should not forget specifically for the pains. One should not forget specifically for the toothache. Toothache is very important of the Coffea Cruda. And when unusual mental activity happens to be there, continuous thoughts, the thoughts are not reducing, patient is not able to get sleep, he's continuously thinking, and he's explaining to the explaining to the physician that doctor, I'm not getting sleep on account of many thoughts which arises in. You just cross question whether you have a habit of taking the coffee. Many people have the habit of taking coffee, and because of coffee the thoughts runs in a very fast way. So wonderful remedy one should learn for the pains, specifically for first year and final year. One should consider this remedy for the pains only. So thank you being there. We'll meet again when time permits. Thank you and good afternoon.